Regular meeting of the Township Council is called to order. In accordance with Section 5 of the Open Public Meeting Act, Chapter 231, Public Law 1975, be advised that adequate notice of this work session regular meeting of the Township Council of the Township of Franklin, County of Somerset, was made by posting on the bulletin board in the municipal complex and transmitted to the officially designated newspapers a list of dates annually indicating that this work session regular meeting would take place in the Franklin Township Municipal Complex at 7 p.m. on Tuesday, April 14th, 2015. In addition, a copy of the notice has been available to the public and is on file in the office of the municipal clerk. Please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance and remain standing for the invocation by Councilman Theodore Chase.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
As we gather here today as members of the Township Council, we pray that we are ever mindful of opportunities to render our service to fellow citizens and to our community, keeping in mind always the enduring values of life, exerting our efforts in those areas and upon those things upon which future generations can build with confidence. Let us continue to strive to make a better world. Amen.
So is this you, Tom? Is that you?
Ms. McCarthy, please call the roll.
Councilman Chase,
Here.
Deputy Mayor Francois,
Here.
Mayor Kelly,
Here.
Councilman Kramer,
Here.
Councilman Prasad,
Here.
Councilman Regan, Councilwoman Sherman,
Here.
Councilman Vasanella,
Here.
Councilman Wright.
You ready?
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
We are now up to the commendations and proclamations. If you're following along on the agenda, there are agendas on the far side if you'd care to pick up a copy and follow along.
Yeah, great.
Okay, thank you. Now, here we are, the proclamation for Arbor Day. Whereas the Township of Franklin recognizes the value of preserving and maintaining the community forest. And whereas trees conserve energy, promote a healthy environment, add value to our homes, and enhance the appearance of neighborhoods, parks, communities, and whereas the Township of Franklin has recognized the value of trees by creating a shade tree commission to promote tree conservation and planting and caring of trees on public property throughout the township. And whereas National Arbor Day on April 24th, 2015 is celebrated by communities nationwide as a time to promote the benefit of trees. Whereas in recognition and celebration of Arbor Day 2015, the Franklin Township Shade Tree Commission holds an annual tree sale as well as plants trees in the township. On April 25th, 2015, the Commission, in conjunction with the Open Space Advisory Committee, will plant a mix of Rutgers hybrid prairie fire crabapple, October Glory red maple, Fall Siesta sugar maple, Heritage river birch, thornless honey locust, London plane tree, holly trees at Negrita and JFK Boulevard. Now, therefore, I, Mayor Christopher Kelly, on behalf of the Township Council of the Township of Franklin, County of Somerset, State of New Jersey, do hereby proclaim Friday, the 24th day of April, 2015, as Arbor Day in the Township of Franklin, Somerset County, and do hereby encourage all residents to plant, conserve, and care for trees throughout the Township of Franklin. say a few words about Arbor Day, if you'd like to.
Well, we're celebrating Arbor Day on April 25th at Negri Napodi Grasslands at 9 a.m. We have about 100 trees to plant, so we could use a couple young arms to to help bury them. So think about it. If you're free, come join us. And so, thank you, Mayor.
Come up, Jeannie and John, would you care to come up? Michelle, if you'd care to come up as well? We're going a little bit out of order on the agenda here, just for the suspense of all the youth here today. Okay. Okay. I'll introduce everybody, all these fine people in a few minutes, but April is National Donate Life Month, and here is the proclamation for National Donate Life Month. Whereas, realizing the urgent need for donors around the country, the National Donate Life Month observance was established in 2003 to promote a greater understanding about the life-saving benefits of donation. Established in 2012, National Donate Life Blue and Green Day on April 17, 2015, represents a national effort to support and raise awareness for organ and tissue donation and transplantation. Moreover, the need is increasing. The New Jersey Organ and Tissue Sharing Network, NJ Sharing Network, is committed to addressing the need through enhanced awareness and, whereas the transplantation of organs and tissues is a miracle of modern medicine, made possible through the compassion of organ and tissue donors, enabling surgeons to save thousands of lives every year. Donors not only give the gift of life, but also often restore health and sight to the recipients of the tissue and organs. People of all ages, ethnic backgrounds, and religions are affected by the need for organ transplants and by the serious shortage of organ donors that exist. Currently, there are nearly 5,000 New Jersey residents and over 120,000 Americans awaiting the life-saving and life-enhancing transplant operations. And whereas every capable person should support this vital effort by learning more about donating tissue and organs, registering as organ and tissue donors, making their families aware of their wishes, and willing to give this precious gift of health, sight, and life to the people in need. Whereas registering as an organ and tissue donor at the local motor vehicle agency or online at www.njsharingnetwork.org signifies our fundamental human responsibility to help others. And whereas, as mayor of the Township of Franklin, I recognize National Donate Life Month and National Blue-Green Day as a great opportunity to join in the fight to save lives by giving the greatest gift. Now, therefore, I, Christopher Kelly, Mayor of the Township of Franklin, and on behalf of the Township Council, I do hereby proclaim April 2015 as Donate Life Month in Franklin Township, and I encourage all residents to join with me in promoting organ and tissue donor education through National Donate Life Month observance. Okay. There are a few people up here who I would like to introduce. I know they'll be brief. My good friend Jean Blanchard here is the marketing manager for the NJ Sharing Network. Her role in the organization is in external affairs as the marketing manager. Her and the NJ Sharing Network develop promotional and educational materials to support organ and tissue donation for community outreach in their clinical team in hospitals and transplant centers. Jean's sister Maggie was a tissue donor 3 years ago after an auto accident. Maggie's gift was able to help 11 women with breast cancer to have reconstructive surgery. She's excited to share today some information on the NJ Sharing Network and the work that they do. Also with us is the former Mayor John Clyde, who is a two-time organ transplant heart recipient, and Michelle Samaritan from the County Board of Health, or County Health Department, I should say. Sorry, I got that all wrong. So, would you like to say a few words?
Hi, I'm Jeannie Blanchard, as Chris said. It's so nice to see so many young people out here today. As Chris said, the best way to learn about organ and tissue donation is to go to our website, njsharingnetwork.org. I'll also be here if you have any questions. giving the gift of life is an amazing thing. We never know what's going to happen day to day in our lives. And many of you, when you register for your license, your schools will teach you about organ donation. But also educate yourself and your families. And not only for the adults in the room, should you register to be an organ donor, educate yourself and then make the decision to register, but also talk to your families about it. When families know, it makes the decision that much easier. Don't assume that they know what you want to be done in terms of a crisis situation. So, you know, April is a great month. On Friday, the whole state will be dressing blue and green. We have many educational activities that you can get involved with, not only in April, but throughout the year. We have a 5K in New Providence on June 7th. We need volunteers. You can go on our website and sign up. And again, I thank you for being here, and I thank the mayor. And the gift of life, we have an example of a living gift of life right here. So we really appreciate it. Thank you.
Somerset County Department of Health and the Advisory Board of Health is happy to be able to support the work of the Sharing Network and the organ donation outreach that we began a number of years ago. So within the next months and the years with the mayor, the advisory board, and these folks will be continuing to be able to spread the message. So thank you.
Okay. I want to say thank you. I want to say thank you to Michelle for the work she's done over the years, to the Franklin Township Council, and in a very, very special way to 3 people and/or groups. First, to my good friend Dr. Phil Kramer for his help to me on a personal level during a recent health episode I had in the fall and the winter. A very, very special thank you to Mayor Chris Kelly for organizing this, for putting this together. I will never match Chris's time in the triathlon. He is our first Ironman mayor. But I can walk around the block, I can jog around the block, and in 1993, sitting on this council, I had a little trouble walking from the parking lot up to the DS. So it's been over 20 years of the gift of life, 22 years for me. Very special thanks to Jean, the Sharing Network, for all they do, and for their Philadelphia counterparts, Gift of Life. These people make life happen. They have saved and enhanced so many lives. I don't know about you guys, but I want to be 100. I want you guys to live to 105. I want Pat Dillon over there to live to 115. But if something happens, if I have an accident, if I pass away before my 100th birthday, if I can do something to give life to somebody else, to enhance the lives of somebody else by donating tissues, bone tissues, bone to help people walk again, if I can make that kind of difference, if I can give the gift of life at the time of my death, man, that is an awesome thing. So there's people here that probably are in the process of getting their driver's licenses over the next couple of years. Pray about it. Think about it. And give the gift of life. Sign up to be an organ donor. Thanks, everybody.
Thank you all for that rousing response. I hope you all do follow their advice and do sign up to be organ donors. You never know when you're going to need one or help people out with that. Now, since Michelle is already up here, and since this is National Public Health Week coming up, here's a proclamation for National Public Health Week. Whereas, good health and quality of life for everyone in Franklin Township is an important goal for our community. And whereas, the role of public health is to prevent disease and promote good health in our community. Whereas more than half of all cancer deaths can be prevented by making healthy choices like no smoking, staying at a healthy weight, eating right, keeping active, and getting recommended screening tests. And whereas preventing diseases before they start is critical to helping people live longer, healthier lives while managing health-related costs. And whereas some of the greatest achievements of public health include vaccinations, safer workplaces, safer and healthier foods, control of infectious diseases, fluoridation of drinking water, public health preparedness, and recognition of tobacco use as a health hazard. And whereas National Public Health Week provides the focused opportunity for the public to learn about our community's public health concerns and success stories. Whereas action by community leaders to implement policy changes that promote the community health plan goals of healthy eating, active living, reduced poverty, improved access to health care and mental health care will make our community a healthier place to live for current and future generations. Now, therefore, I, Christopher Kelly, Mayor of the Township of Franklin, Somerset County, on behalf of the Township Council, do hereby proclaim the week of April 6 through 12, 2015 as Public Health Week.
It's Public Health Week, so I guess I should. For those who don't know, these good folks up here are your Board of Health in Franklin Township, so this is their celebratory week, just as well it is the health department's and yours. If you don't think you've used public health, you think you've used public health this week? Maybe? Did you eat? Did you drink? Are you breathing? Did you flush the toilet and hope never to see it again? You've just used public health. So give thanks for that every day, and thank you to the council. Thank you, Mayor.
April is quite a month, isn't it? Wow, there's a lot going on this month. It's really nice to see all the young people here. I'm going to read the proclamation for the National Alcohol Awareness Month, of which you all know very much about because you came up with some PCAs regarding the subject. This proclamation reads, 2015 National Alcohol Awareness Month. Whereas alcohol is a primary factor in the 4 leading causes of death for young people ages 10 to 21. I never knew that. Whereas alcohol is the most commonly used addictive substance in the United States. Whereas young people who begin drinking before the age of 15 are 4 times more likely to develop alcohol dependence than those who begin drinking at the age of 21. Whereas more than 7 million children live in a household where at least one parent is dependent on or has abused alcohol. Whereas the typical American will see 100,000 beer commercials before he or she turns 18 years old. Whereas 1 in every 12 adults, that is 17.6 million people, suffer from alcohol abuse or dependence. Whereas more than half of all adults have a family history of alcoholism or problem drinking. And whereas 100,000 persons die every year from alcohol-related causes, drinking and driving crashes, other accidents, falls, fires, alcohol-related homicides, and suicides. Whereas alcohol-related problems cost America $224 billion. That's $746 a person in lost productivity, absenteeism from work, healthcare costs, crime, and family-related problems. Therefore, now we, myself, Kimberly Francois, Deputy Mayor, and our Mayor, Christopher Kelly, on behalf of the Township Council, now join the National Council on Alcoholism, Drug Dependence, the Franklin Township Municipal Alliance for the Prevention of Substance Abuse, and the Parents Who Host Lose the Most campaign, do hereby proclaim that April 2015 is Alcohol Awareness Month in the Township of Franklin. As mayor, our mayor, He also calls upon all citizens, parents, governmental agencies, public and private institutions, businesses, hospitals, schools, and colleges to support efforts that will provide very early education about alcoholism and addiction and increase support for individuals and families coping with alcoholism and addiction. Through these efforts, we believe together we can provide hope, help, healing for those in our community who are facing challenges with alcohol use and abuse. So it's very, very befitting that we have these young people here. I'm going to ask our Director of Parks and Recreation and our Program Coordinator, Director Alice Sipowicz, and our Recreation Program Coordinator, Safi Callan, to come up. We have commendations for you too, before you can present your commendations to all these young people who worked on these PSA projects in regards to alcoholism. And your accommodations both read, in recognition for your leadership and guidance of the Franklin Township Youth Council and the Parks and Recreation Department in the development and production of drug, alcohol, and bullying prevention public service announcements. To your credit, the Recreation Department and the Youth Council, the Franklin Township Youth Service Commission, and the Franklin Township Alliance for the Prevention of Substance Abuse have been recognized by the New Jersey Recreation and Park Association for programming excellence. So that's a high, high commendation for our township on behalf of these two wonderful individuals. We recognize their efforts of all that have been involved and have contributed to the success of this project, which is these young people here, and their goal to increase our community awareness regarding the dangers of substance abuse, underage drinking, smoking, harassment, intimidation, and bullying. And I can say, we need a whole lot more of this. We need a whole lot more community awareness, young people awareness. And I think this is just fabulous, what we have here today. And I know, Alice, you're going to give us a presentation. You're going to go over.
I'm going to talk first.
You're going to
Is that
talk,
real?
and
Susan,
then you'll bring the young people up? Okay, great. Let's give them all a round of applause. We'll do it again. We'll do it again.
First, speaking on behalf of the Municipal Alliance for the Prevention of Substance Abuse, I'd just like to let everyone know that we're in the first year of a 5-year effort to increase awareness about the issues associated with alcohol abuse, and particularly the laws pertaining to underage drinking and the associated risks for young people. And while we believe that the majority of teens do not drink and the majority of parents do not allow alcohol consumption by their children, there still are senseless tragedies all the time, and we want to try to prevent that in Franklin Township. So the Municipal Alliance has adopted the Parents Who Host Lose the Most campaign to try to educate residents about the social host laws in New Jersey. And we want to remind parents and teens that, of course, drinking under the age of 21 is illegal in New Jersey, that it can result in a fine of $500, community service, and the loss of one's driver's license. It's also a disorderly persons offense for adults to provide alcohol to any person under the age of 21 that's other than their own children in their own home. And there are penalties for adults providing alcohol to their children's underage friends, and a fine of up to $1,000 and or up to 6 months imprisonment. So during this time of the year, the Municipal Alliance tries to provide some additional educational awareness programs, and we recently had a teen summit with over 140 teens that attended a variety of workshops on alcohol awareness, substance abuse, mental health issues, digital citizenship, and human trafficking, which was just recently in the news in the last 2 days. Tomorrow at Franklin Middle School, the school district is sponsoring a workshop at 6 p.m. By Michael DeLeon on protecting our students, and his focus is on current drug trends and the heroin epidemic in New Jersey. We're also, again, next week in conjunction with the Board of Education and the Franklin Township Police Department, hosting a program workshop called Parties, Proms, and Pitfalls. And that is Thursday, the 23rd at 6:45 at Franklin High School. We have speakers including Dr. Barbara Schneider, who's the Director of Adolescent Medicine at Robert Wood Johnson Hospital, Attorney Keisha Hebben, Robin Saddam from Saddam Insurance, and representatives of the Franklin Township Police Department and the Board of Education. So we're really trying to focus on seniors and their parents, although the entire community is invited to that workshop if they're interested. We're just hoping that everyone is aware of the senseless tragedies that happen by making unfortunate decisions. In general, we want to encourage all residents to be part of the majority and not to provide alcohol to minors. And we want to remind everyone that buzz driving is drunk driving. So that's a little bit on parents who host. To turn to tonight's recognition, I really have to recognize Safi Callan and the members of the Franklin Township Youth Council for their vision and leadership in the development. They've done 5 substance abuse and bullying prevention public service announcements. They were funded by the Franklin Township Youth Services Commission and the Municipal Alliance for the Prevention of Substance Abuse and recognized for visual and cultural arts programming excellence. I think there's a considerable amount of merit in peer-to-peer education, and especially when we're talking peer-to-peer education for young people. I think the Franklin Township Youth Council accepted and delivered on the challenge to bring attention to the issues that have such a devastating impact on the lives of young people. And tonight we want to share with them the acclaim that they deserve for this project. We're going to try to show one of the PSAs.
Michelle? The lights? Michelle, you want to?
Lights.
We have an electrician working on it. Excellent.
Yeah, there's the electrician.
Couldn't have worked out better.
So this is the end. Yeah. That's the end, yeah.
Thought you charged more than a
Yeah, that's nice. You cut your price. Thanks.
I saw my dealer an hour ago.
I have 2 dealers, but one doesn't know about the other. My dealer taught me how to dance. My dealer taught me how to play the piano.
My dealer dropped me off at school today. My dealer made me breakfast this morning. The funny thing is, hey Mom. Hey. My dealer's right here.
We really wanted to thank you today for putting a spotlight on the Franklin Township Youth Council for doing these PSAs. The thing that we're really proud of is that they're starring young people, they're by young people, they're for young people, and Alice spoke a moment ago about peer education, and we think that it's such an important thing because the young people that you see in front of you are the ones that know what their peers are going through best. For those of you that don't know about the Franklin Township Youth Council, we have only half of our 110 membership. They are 12 to 18-year-olds, and they are amazing. And they create programs within Franklin for Franklin youth and teens and they do it from the ground up. So they're creating the programming, they're contacting the venues, they're getting the permits, and they're taking what they're passionate about and doing something to share that with the community. And I really couldn't be prouder of them, especially when it comes to these PSAs and pretty much all of the projects you do. So I'm glad to work with you. I'm glad that you work with me every day. And I'm just so proud about what you do for the community, and that just at this age, whether it be 12 or 18 or somewhere in between, that you care so much about Franklin Township, that people know who you are, and it just shows. So thank you, guys. Youth Council, if you could just stand up for a second. It's a lot of us. Thank you, guys. There's more than. Oh, yes, I'm going to read. Oh, you can sit down, guys. I'm going to read your certificate of commendation. This commendation was given from the Township of Franklin to members of the Franklin Township Youth Council for assistance in development and production of drug, alcohol, and bullying prevention public service announcements, created by the 2013-2014 Health and Wellness Committee. The Franklin Township Youth Council, Franklin Parks and Recreation, Franklin Township Youth Service Commission, and the Franklin Township Alliance for the Prevention of Substance Abuse have been recognized by the New Jersey Recreation and Park Association for excellence in visual and cultural arts programming. We recognize the efforts of all involved that have contributed to the success of this project and their goal to increase community awareness regarding the dangers of substance abuse, underage drinking, smoking, harassment, intimidation, and bullying. All this given this 14th day of April in the year 2015. Thank you.
Hit the lights for us, please, Pat. Come on up, everybody. Take a picture.
Just come back here, line up. Too late.
This is very important. We need to get a picture. Everybody's here.
You
It's phenomenal.
This way and Phil.
They got a camera that can get all of those?
It's all in the back.
It's nice they all
Bill's
came.
I don't know if
You do such a great work with these kids. So proud of you.
Yeah.
Couple shots.
Yeah.
Squeeze into this space.
Stand up.
Photo bomb. I know. So there's just, so every once in a while.
Oh, we
Oh, might as well stand up.
stand up. All right, you can.
Ah.
There you are. Watch this. You're Alice's boss, right?
Okay.
You guys, oh, there. Oh.
One, two, three, cheese. Thank you.
Did she get it? Oh, we're still doing it.
Thank you.
One of you has to go on Facebook and tag every person's picture.
Yeah, that'll go. It'll take 3 days.
Are you going to lead us on picture?
Absolutely.
I went, if it was on, I went.
No
I
problem.
was like, look at the angle. See, like,
Thank you very much.
Thanks, Effie.
Rearrange it so we go That's funny, too. Yeah, yeah. That's why. I never even noticed it. Now I'm going to check it out, make sure that it works. Yeah. Well, this I was dead, so I had to. And got up to 12. Yeah, Bob found that it was unplugged underneath and plugged it in. Yeah.
You were able to crawl under there?
He did. Is that
It was
devotion?
funny that he was that sensitive. He one recognized it, and two was that sensitive.
Very well. Well done. Well done. Okay. Is there a motion to open the meeting for public discussion?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion is carried. This meeting is open for public discussion on any item of interest which does not have a public hearing of its own. Anyone interested in speaking, please raise your hand, and when recognized, give your name and address.
All right.
See no one coming forward, Mayor. A motion to close the public portion of the meeting.
Seconded.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion is carried. We're on to council comments. I'll start on the left hand this side with Councilman Wright.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, and I only have a few comments. This last month, we haven't had a land use meeting because we're waiting for the
Okay, this is, everybody
the Cowpool Park
in there.
issue to be raised. Councilman Ted Chase has been working very hard on this issue,
Oh, this one?
and he wants everyone to come out, therefore, and express your opinion. So Councilman Chase has definitely been on the mark with this. And let's see, we have a ward meeting, but it's turned into a town hall meeting. People have come up and asked about, well, I don't live in your ward, could I come? And I said, yes, just come on down. And the meeting will be held on Thursday, the 18th, at Holy Trinity Lutheran Church, and that's at 1640 Amwell Road here in Somerset. And the meeting will go on from 8 to 8:30. Our own
18.
Township Manager, Robert Vornlocker, will be in attendance.
8 to 8:30?
Huh?
I thought you said 7 o'clock.
7 o'clock to 7:30. No, 7 o'clock to 8:30.
Yeah.
You're right, okay. You see how he tries to trick me up here? And I want you,
Is the 16th.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's Thursday the 16th.
16th, I'm sorry. 16th, I'm sorry.
Start again.
I got my calendar open, I just looked at it. So what I'd like is everyone to come out, ask questions, those questions you never asked before, that you were afraid to ask. You didn't come to a council meeting, come on out and ask those questions, and we're going to try our very best to answer those questions for you. Again, that is this Thursday, the 16th, at 7 to 8:30 at Holy Trinity Lutheran Church at 1640 Amwell Road. My last council comment involves the Sisters Network of Central New Jersey. I usually make their announcements, but our own deputy mayor was elected to their board of directors, and at this particular moment, since there's something coming up this weekend, I'm going to swing it down to our deputy mayor to explain the program.
Yeah, I was recently nominated to the Board of Directors for the Sisters Network of Central New Jersey. And our first function this year will be held at the Hyatt Regency Hotel in New Brunswick on Saturday, April 18th, from 8 a.m. to 11 a.m. There will be free health screenings by Robert Wood Johnson University Hospital. They'll be giving out mammograms and breast health information, as well as information on blood sugar, blood pressure, facial skin screenings, lifestyle education information, as well as giving seated chair massages and all kinds of information on breast health. The tickets are $45 for adults, $40 for seniors. You can buy a ticket at the door, or if you want to give a donation, you can make your check or money order payable to SNCNJ HSS. And by all means, we've heard so much about health and public health and concerns for the month of April. So this is also very timely in terms of raising awareness about breast cancer. Thank you, Councilman.
I have one more thing. I'm going to blame it on dirty glasses. I couldn't see the paperwork. So I apologize with dirty glasses only because Councilman Kramer forgot to tell me, Carl, clean your glasses.
Okay,
Councilman Kramer?
thank you. I now have a new council liaisonship, Carl's glasses. I have 5 issues. I'll start out light, get a little more serious, and then end up with a light note. The first is walk and roll. That's where we close down Canal Road from Market Street to Butler Road, about 5.5 miles of the road. I've seen the mayor there. In past years, it's nice. You can get out there, walk, bike, roller skate. I keep threatening to get out there on an easy chair one of these years and say hello to people. But that will be May 17th. There'll be another one in September. So it's Sunday, May 17th, and the rain date is the following Sunday. I'm sorry, no, the rain date is May 31st, so 2 Sundays later. So May 17th, walk and roll. The next item is something I've gotten a lot of emails about, and I bet other council members have as well, and that is the railroad crossing at Clyde Road. This has been a thorn in my side for some time and a thorn in many people's sides for some time because I continue to get email about it, and I thank you all for sending the email and keep sending it. It's more armament for us to send on to Conrail, who owns it. So the rules on it, and the manager and attorney can correct me if I'm wrong, this is owned by them. It is their property. And if you've been following the news with some of the problems on railroad crossings, bridges, it's a national problem. The railroads own these facilities and nationally are not keeping them up. We are getting more aggressive with how we are handling this with the railroad. Initially, it was some calls, and we are getting more aggressive with that. I went and inspected the crossing myself. It is deplorable. Fortunately, the people who know the crossing know enough to slow down there, but if you don't, it is a giant pothole. We've discussed various things the town can and can't do, and we are aware, but hold our feet to the fire on this as we are holding Conrail's feet to the fire on this, and we are trying to get some justice on it. The next item, getting more serious, is body cameras are in the news. Police body cameras are in the news. Some people have asked me about it. It is something that our police force is, I should say, more than looking into, investigating. This is not something you go into lightly. Someone suggested to me, we'll just buy them a bunch of GoPros. You don't want to do that. They have to be intelligent as to how they turn on, how they turn off. You don't want, you wouldn't want an officer, not that I would accuse any of our officers of doing it, of turning it off at the inappropriate time, but there are other issues, constitutional issues. If your house is robbed and the police officer comes into your house to investigate and ask questions, we have an Oprah law. Do you want the video of the inside of your house available to Oprah? So the IG's got to weigh in on this. There's a lot of work to be done. I recently found out, however, that SHI, one of the major companies in our town, is involved in the manufacturing of these. So maybe there's a deal to be made in the future and save us some dollars. But this is something we are looking into. I was asked along the same lines about training for our police force. You know what, I'm not going to go into the details of what they train for and how they train in diversity training and how they train as far as the use of firearms. I think that's out of place for me. That's something our chief of police can talk about if the rest of council would want him to come here. But I was impressed at the amount of time they spend with it and the in-depth they go into with it. So we are a town that pays attention to that. Never sure that nothing can happen here. That's the best way to make a mistake. But we do pay attention to it, and our police chief is always looking out for these issues. The next thing is there are two dates today that are important in history. The first is 150 years ago was the assassination of our president, Abraham Lincoln, 150 years ago today. And I was thinking about it over Passover because it has always been of interest to me that Moses was allowed to bring his people to the promised land but never could go in. And unfortunately, that is essentially what Abraham Lincoln did. He brought us to the end of the war, but he didn't get to enjoy the fruits of that. And that juxtaposition of those two historical figures has always impressed me. The other very important thing that happened on this date 24 years ago was I married my lovely wife, and the amazing thing is she has stayed with me for 24 years. Thank you. Despite the fact that she should get a commendation, that's very good. Despite the fact that rather than being out celebrating with her, I am here at a council meeting. But Lori, I love you. Thank you for all those years. That's it, Mr. Mayor.
That's tough to top, but if you want to try, Councilman Chase, go right ahead.
I wanted to mention several events the Environmental Commission is putting on. First of all, this Saturday, April 18th, we're having a cleanup, another cleanup of Mile Run from 9 to 11 in the morning. Meet at the parking lot of St. Peter and Paul Church on Hawthorne. We were hoping to coordinate this with the New Brunswick Environmental Commission to clean up their side, particularly because from Hamilton Street to Somerset Street, it's very difficult of access from our side and easier from their side, but somehow or other, their cleanup is scheduled from 11:30 to 1:30, so you can go from one to the other if you really wish. Then on May 4th, which is a regular Environmental Commission meeting on a Monday night, we're having a seminar on invasive plant species from the New Jersey Invasive Species Strike Force to tell you about, both some invasive species that have thoroughly invaded and some that there's still some hope of stopping, non-native species of plants that are taking over our woods and open spaces. And finally, on May 16th, Saturday, we're having Alpha Phi Alpha, which is a service fraternity, and the Environmental Commission are putting on a green forum with various aspects of how to make our town and our society more sustainable. A keynote speaker, I can't remember his name off the top of my head, but he's the principal of the Willow School up at the border of Somerset and Morris counties, and he's also president of the New Brunswick Board of Education. The Willow School has taken a real leadership in being energy efficient and sustainable. And our own Upendra Shivakula, now on the Board of Public Utilities, will also be speaking. I should also mention that this last Saturday we had a tour of the Catalpa property with the Open Space Committee taking the lead, but with all the people from the Trails Committee, the Shade Tree Committee. Councilman Kramer and myself were there, and I think we learned some things about the property that we'll want to recommend as we develop a plan for the property, for some use of the property for active recreation. And I'd like to encourage the rest of the council to visit the property. I could guide them around anytime you wanted to come. So, thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you. Councilman Prasad.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Okay, a couple of things. The Clyde Road crossing that Councilman Kramer talked about, we all got messages on it, and we'd love to hear from you. But please leave your phone number so that we can call you back, and that way we can communicate, let you know what we've done on it, and explain to you what is happening. So please, if you do call, leave your phone number, how we can get back to you, so that you can get a report back on what your request and how it was handled. Now, this Saturday is Mahavir Jayanti, which is one of the founders of the Jain faith, and we have the Jain temple here in Cedar Grove, and there is a parade planned at 10 a.m. at the temple, and I am going to be presenting this proclamation from the township, from the mayor and the council, and I'll read it out for the record here. Whereas in 599 BC, Mahavir was born a prince in Bihar, India, and at the age of 30 he gave up his worldly possessions and became a monk. And whereas Mahavir spent his life preaching and teaching monks and nuns to emulate the ways of meditation and mode of behavior he had learned in 12 years of deep silence and meditation to realize perfect perception, knowledge, power, and bliss. And whereas Lord Mahavir established the 5 great vows of right conduct for Jains: nonviolence, truthfulness, non-stealing, chastity, and non-possession, non-attachment, the vows still today held at the center of their lives. Now, therefore, be it resolved that I, Christopher Kelly, Mayor of the Township of Franklin, and Rajiv Prasad, on behalf of the Township Council and all the residents, do hereby extend best wishes for the successful celebration of the birth of Lord Mahavir. So, that is what is happening this Saturday. Now, we also have a Week of the People's variety show. It's a fundraiser on Friday, the 24th at 7 p.m. The donation is $5, and it's at the Franklin Middle School, and it's for a good cause, so please do turn out and support the Week of the People. So it's the community in unity, so we should have, a good turnout and a good time. Now, beyond that, we've got the New Jersey Orators, which have grown over the last 30 years, and they have become a statewide organization with chapters everywhere, but their roots are in Franklin. And they're having their celebration in New Brunswick at the Hyatt, and TV7's Anthony Johnson is going to be the master of ceremonies, and it teaches our young kids how to be better orators, debaters, and in public speaking. So it is something that is recommended for all our young people, and it is on Saturday, June 6th, and it's from 1 p.m. to 4 p.m., the lunch, and the adult tickets are $50, students are $25, and the limited VIP tickets are $80. So I recommend everybody attending it. And the keynote speaker is Dr. Julianne Malveaux. And with that, the Human Relations Commission, which I'm the council liaison, has been requesting a park because the area around the redevelopment area requires that there's a lot of children that are playing on the streets and they need a park to get off the streets and become safe. So around the bank, etc., that area needs a park, and they're talking to the redevelopment agency now. And Deputy Mayor Francois would talk a little bit more about the redevelopment agency, but it's been referred to the redevelopment agency to come up with plans for a park in that area. And lastly, there's the Franklin Boulevard Post Office. And this has been my post office since 1977, ever since I moved here. And that was at that time the only post office in Franklin before the DeMott Road Lane post office opened. And now they're talking about shutting it down. We're saying, look, the community there needs it. And so we are having a meeting on the 22nd. It's at the First Baptist Church with everybody there. And it's in the morning on April 22nd. So there's two parts where there's going to be a hearing, and then they'll also, the post office personnel will give us an update as to what's happening with that. So that said, thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you, Councilman Basanella.
Thank you. Yes, be careful with the railroad crossing. Also getting comments from residents in town. They're concerned that. So in the time being, for the time being, until we can rectify it with the railroad company, just please be careful. We did not have a public safety meeting this month. Councilman Wright, Councilman Regan, Councilwoman Sherman is on the committee with myself, and we'll probably be meeting in the near future. Another event that took place this past weekend was the opening day for the Little League, which also had a parade. Councilman Kramer and Councilman Prasad and some other distinguished guests were there. It was wonderful. I don't know who has ever gotten to the Little League field other than people that are involved with it, or kids play there, or grandkids or whatever. But if you get a chance, it's fun just to watch a game, even if you don't have anybody directly involved. And good luck to them. Have a wonderful season. One other event, on a more somber note, that fortunate anniversary we have each year in this town was on Saturday also, which was the ninth anniversary of the passing of Kevin Apuzio, who was our volunteer fireman who basically died in the line of duty, attempting to save an elderly resident of Franklin. So I know it was a while ago, but keep him and his family in your prayers. Thank you.
Thank you. Councilwoman Sherman?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I attended the teen summit that the Recreation Department had put on, and it was really marvelous. They did a great job. They had 5 or 6 speakers, and the teens would rotate from one room to the other. They also provided them with pizza, which was probably a very good way to get them there. But the speakers were really wonderful. I managed to walk around and sit in on so many of the classes. They talked about, one young lady talked about teen depression, how most young people will hide it, and how important it is to make sure you talk to somebody about it and get help. She probably would have been a teen suicide if she didn't have help. They talked about the slavery. If you know of young people who run away and find themselves at a bus stop or a train station, lost and afraid, and someone comes up and befriends them, and it sounds like it's good to have somebody there? Well, it's not good. That person is usually someone who watches for young people like that and lures them into prostitution, drug sales, or whatever. So it was a marvelous assortment of information for our young people, and hopefully they took it seriously and took it to heart. I also wanted to talk a little bit about Franklin Day Festival, which is going to happen in September 19th. As you know, I mention it fairly often. Last year was our first year. We had 5,000 people come out for it, and we're looking to even bring in more this year. We're starting earlier, we're advertising more aggressively, and I'm very, very pleased to say we have gotten our first 2 sponsors. Investors Bank, who has been so generous to the Franklin Youth Initiative. I also noticed on the program that Alice left for the awards program for the Recreation Department. Investors Bank Foundation supported their promotional literature. They have committed to a diamond level $2,500 supporter, and today Restus Car Care came forward as a silver supporter at $500. So we're rocking and rolling. We're just starting our fundraising, so anyone who'd like to be part of it, you can either be a sponsor, have a table, you'll be involved in our advertising, or you can be a donor and just give us money. We're happy to take that too. So if anyone is interested, please let me know. I also would like to talk about, let's start that. Yeah, we'll switch. Yeah, this one works. Can you hear me? Yes, okay. I also would like to mention that this week is the commemoration week for the Holocaust. It's called Yom HaShoah, and it's Holocaust remembrance. It's something we all should remember, whether we're Jewish or not. In fact, the men's club from the synagogue Bethel has sold yellow candles as a commemorative to be lit tomorrow night. The yellow being the color of the badges that the Jewish people wore. And as I say, whether you're Jewish or not, this is something we all should not forget. And remember, we still live in a world of a lot of violence, and there are people being unnecessarily and well, lives destroyed. So we should not forget any moment of violence, and if we can all sort of remember it together, it makes it even that much more meaningful. Wanted to mention the Franklin Times had several articles that represent some programs that we're working on here in the township. One being a destination marketing program that several of us, myself, the manager, Vince Dominic, and several others are working on trying to identify those locations within the township that make Franklin unique, that you would want your friends, your relatives to come to Franklin to see. So we're asking everyone to please send us what you consider to be the things about Franklin that you are proud of, that you would want as a tourist to come here, because tourism is something we want to build in this township. It's a wonderful thing for our restaurants. It's a wonderful thing for our hotels. So we're trying to make that a program to make Franklin better known, because we have so many wonderful things that people don't really know about. We know a lot of them, but maybe there are things that you know that we don't know. So please respond to that and send in your ideas. The other article in there was a card that our manager has developed that is being put on all paperwork having to be, that's taken from the township by various people that come in for whatever reason, whether it's to pay your taxes, whether it's to go to construction code, whatever it is, and basically saying, how are we doing? Let us know so that we can serve you even better. And I'll let the manager talk a little bit about how the responses have been, and surprisingly, we've gotten quite a few. So I hope you read the Franklin Times. I talked to somebody and they said, I never heard of the Franklin Day Festival. And I asked, well, do you read the Franklin Times? She said, not really. read it. It has a lot of great information. It has all the programs in it that the Parks Commission is putting together, that the Recreation Commission is working on. So I suggest you read the Franklin Times. It's a worthwhile publication, and it keeps you abreast of what's going on in the township. And that's from my report. Thank you.
Real quick, Councilman Vasanella.
Yes, thank you, Mayor. I forgot to mention, those of you at home may not be able to know, we have a Boy Scout troop in our audience here tonight. I assume they're here working on a merit badge. Okay, I'm getting the thumbs up. I wanted to acknowledge their presence here. We have a handful of Boy Scout troops, Cub Scout troops in this town, and on occasion, you see them here for various reasons, along with so many other groups. And I just realized that most weeks we're here, there's some group either learning about what we do or telling us about what we could do better, or otherwise here to be acknowledged. So I just wanted to recognize that Boy Scout troop in audience tonight. Thank you.
Deputy Mayor Francois.
There seems to be a central theme today at our meeting, talking about young people and their accomplishments and violence and how to make the world a better place in which we live. So I would be remiss if I didn't bring up the fact that this past Saturday, over at the Community Center, Senior Center, the Franklin Youth Initiative had over 300 young people with over 30-plus acts about around the central theme of Stop the Violence. The Franklin Youth Initiative was formed 9 years ago when we had 2 gang-related deaths here in Franklin Township. And the Stop the Violence annual event took place this past Saturday. It was really phenomenal. The kids were doing every act that they performed. They incorporated some theme about stopping the violence, even in their dance gyrations. I've seen stuff I've never seen before. It was a wonderful event. It went from 6 to 10, and I'm just so proud of all of our young people, our Boy Scouts, our Youth Council, our Franklin Youth Initiative, all the work that's being done with the Franklin Festival, and all the things that we're doing here in Franklin Township with our young people, because they are our future, and we can't do enough for them. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Oh, thank you very much. Okay, I will keep this brief. One thing I wanted to point out that Councilwoman Sherman missed in the Franklin Times, missed mentioning this Franklin Times edition. There was a small blurb on the announcement of the new mayor with a little bio of him as well. So in case nobody read that, you may want to open it to, I think, the second page. Didn't quite make the cover, but made it somewhere in the middle.
You gotta earn it.
It makes nice kindling too, if you need that on the wall. Okay, there are a couple of quick things. There is the Somerset County Office on Aging and Disability is sponsoring, not just for the aging and disabled, some chronic health issue such as diabetes self-management and chronic disease self-management programs. They're 6 2-hour sessions, and you can find out more about it on the Somerset County Department of Office on Aging and Disability website. There's also another somber anniversary coming up this week, and it hits a little close to home because I have a lot of family living in Oklahoma City. April 19th, 1995 was the Oklahoma City bombing at the Alfred R. Murrah building, where 168 people were killed, 19 of them children, and 680 people were injured. So getting on to this is a crazy world. This is a crazy world. Back, one more shameless plug for the Tour de Franklin on April 26th. I know Councilman Kramer is planning to be there, as well as I. If you would like to come out and complain about any of the potholes on the road, you can get an earful. You can give me an earful for 62 miles. I will be riding the 62-mile route. And I would also like to commend the volunteer fire stations here in town for an excellent job they did on the fire on Willow Road this past Saturday. I was actually out with this group of Boy Scouts at an Eagle Scout ceremony, and their fire department, who sponsors them, was one of the responding departments. So it hits a little close to home for everybody there. And on another sad note, there was a runner who passed away while training yesterday on, I believe, the towpath in town. And being a runner myself, I always like to recommend people run with another person, run with your phone. If not, there's there are various forms of ID, emergency contacts. Keep them in your phone so people can figure out who you are and make sure you return home safely every time. On that note, I will go down to the manager for the manager's report.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. And just to follow up on some of the comments from from the members of council, as Councilman Kramer and several others mentioned, we are diligently pursuing the remedy of the condition of the Clyde Road as well as the Veronica Avenue Railroad crossings. They are under the control of Conrail and CSX, technically, which is a division of Conrail. This has been ongoing for well over a year now. We have been attempting on a number of occasions to get Conrail to fix those railroad crossings. And we have now turned it over to our township attorney to correspond with Conrail in an attempt to get them to fix it. I just want it perfectly clear, and just maybe to expound a little on what Councilman Kramer said. They are within a railroad right-of-way. They are not the township's property, nor are they the township's responsibility to repair. They are also not the township's liability. They are Conrail's. If your car is damaged by something when you cross that and you have to have a repair claim made, your repair claim is made to Conrail, not the Township of Franklin. And also to follow up on Councilwoman Sherman's comments about the comment cards. Basically what this amounts to is we have had a function of our website since the website went online a little more than a year ago, asking you how we're doing. We want your feedback, constructive criticism, whether it be we did something poorly, we did something well. We have room for improvement everywhere. We always accept that we want to be better, and that function, in my opinion, was not being utilized to its potential. Now, every transaction that takes place involves the issuance of a card that goes along with it, encouraging people to visit the website and make comments at that. How are we doing? Since the inception, I guess, so now it's about a week and a half, almost 2 weeks. There has been a significant increase in comments about how we're doing. I appreciate everyone who's gone to the website and visited and gave us your comments. The overwhelming majority have been positive. That's a good thing for the township manager to hear. There has also been, I won't say negative, there have also been comments on how we can improve particular programs or where there is room for improvement. The numbers have been significant. The number that were received in the first year and a half were doubled in the week and a half since the cards began to be issued. So that's what we're looking for, and I encourage everyone, whether you do in-person transactions or not, visit the website. It's clearly labeled on the homepage. How are we doing? Click on it and let us know. And that's all I have, Mr. Mayor.
Mr. Mayor.
Councilman Kramer?
Thank you. I just wanted to clarify something the manager said when he talked about the Clyde Road crossing. It's it not being ours, it's their responsibility. That should not be taken as, and we therefore don't care. It's their responsibility and we're ignoring it. We have had discussions about how we can do things and then bill them, or they can get permission from them. We are looking at every avenue. So please don't take that as we are taking it lightly. It's not our problem. It is our problem, and we are being aggressive about it.
And that's why it was turned over to our township attorney.
Right. Thank you.
Who will add one other caveat. It's really, leaving aside the responsibility for it, we actually don't have the jurisdiction to do it. And Conrail, it's CSX, is chartered by Congress. It's owned, it's kind of federally protected. And I don't want to say, I hate to use the non-legal term, we could get in trouble, but if we can get in trouble, if we do anything to do that, and not only that, we also would potentially become liable if anything should happen with regards to a train that crosses across that. So it's serious. But my experience with Conrail has been that they'll generally work with you on these things. And since it does cross a roadway, and since if we were allowed to repair it, we would do it, I'm sure that we can enter into some kind of arrangement with them that would allow us to repair, their contractor to repair it, maybe with the cost being borne by the township, but it kind of gets to the same purpose.
Okay, we're up to the selection of date of the Catalpa Park public hearing. Does everybody have their calendars out and ready?
Okay, so we need to select a date for the public hearing for Catalpa Park. I've gone through the calendar. It's proposed that this hearing be held sometime during the month of January. I'm sorry, June. January. There you go. There's a Freudian slip. During the month of June. And in reviewing the calendar, I took note of the fact that there were 5 Tuesdays in June, and generally speaking, there's no committees or commissions or boards scheduled on that 5th Tuesday of the month, which would happen to be June 30th. So my first recommendation would be for that, as there would be no conflict for any other boards, commissions, or committees that any council member might sit on. So unless anyone has a conflict with June 30th,
I move the meeting be on June 30th.
Second.
Second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? The motion carries.
That's, assume 7 o'clock.
7 p.m. June 30th, correct.
Now, can you talk about what's going to take place at that meeting, Mr. Manager, please?
That will be the public hearing, at which point council will hear from staff, all relevant committees, planning board, open space advisory committee, advisory rec council, as well as the engineer who designed the concept plan, and it'll be the public's opportunity to comment on what's being proposed. It'll also be an opportunity for council to question any members of those committees, staff, or the engineering firm representatives as far as the park that's proposed on the Catalpa property.
And there will also be an opportunity for us to hear from the public.
Well, as I said, it'll be the opportunity for the public to voice any opinions that they have as far as that particular development of a park is concerned, yes.
And what would be the expected outcome of that meeting?
Well, the expected outcome is Township Council should make a recommendation to the manager to either move forward with the development of the park with any changes or comments as far as what type of development takes place or not. If you don't give me direction, then the park will not proceed. If you give me direction, it will.
I knew the answer, I just wanted
I
to
know
make
you
sure
did.
that the public.
Absolutely.
was
It
informed.
will follow the same format that was held almost to the year ago from when this public hearing will be held on Catalpa, at which time the public came and spoke, and council directed their manager to come back with a new concept plan, which is what I did.
Okay, so since the date is set, we move on to the approval of the minutes. The following minutes are hereby presented for approval by the Township Council. Township Council Work Session Regular Meeting, March 24th, 2015, 7 p.m. Township Council Executive Session, March 24th, 2015.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Ms. McCarthy, can you poll the council?
Councilman Chase.
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Francois.
Yes.
Mayor Kelly.
Yes.
Councilman Kramer.
Here.
Councilman Prasad.
Yes.
Councilwoman Sherman.
Yes.
Councilman Vasanella.
Yes.
Councilman Wright.
Warrants in the amount of $6,562,542.80 on April 14th, 2015 are presented to the Township Council for payment.
Motion for payment.
Second.
Ms. McCarthy, can you poll the council?
Councilman Chase.
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Francois.
Yes.
Mayor Kelly.
Yes.
Councilman Kramer.
I always want to vote no, but yes.
Councilman Prasad.
Yes.
Councilwoman Sherman.
Yes.
Councilman Vasanella.
Yes.
Councilman Wright.
On to the municipal budget. Resolution number 15-121, authorized to read CY 2015 budget by title only. Resolution number 15-121, authorized to read CY budget by title only, is presented to the Township Council for adoption.
Motion for adoption.
Ms. McCarthy, can you poll the council?
Councilman Chase?
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Francois?
Yes.
Mayor Kelly?
No.
Councilman Kramer?
Yes.
Councilman Prasad?
Yes.
Councilwoman Sherman?
Yes.
Councilman Vasanella?
Yes.
Councilman Wright?
Mr. Mayor, do you understand that a no vote means you would have had to read the whole budget?
Yes.
Okay.
Is there a motion to open the meeting for public hearing on the CY 2015 municipal budget?
So moved.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion is carried. This meeting is open for public hearing on the CY 2015 municipal budget. Anyone interested in speaking, please raise your hand, and when recognized, give your name and address.
Speak in the mic, please.
Step into the microphone, sir.
This is about,
There you go.
Speak in the mic, please.
Which budget? This is the municipal budget, not the Hamilton Street budget. Wrong one.
sorry.
That's coming after this one.
All right. Mr. Mayor, see when no one coming forward? I make a
Motion to
motion
close.
that we approve the minutes. yeah.
Seconded.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion is carried. Okay. Ordinance number 4104-15.
No, we have to
No.
adopt it.
Oop, oop,
Resolution
oop, oop, oop,
15, next page.
oop, I lost my.
Oh,
15-122.
15-122, I lost my page.
yes.
I think I lost,
I may have missed putting it in if it's not there.
I don't have a copy.
It's on the regular agenda.
Yeah.
It's like the budget. If, however, Mr. Mayor, you want to read the whole thing, you could go ahead and do that.
Okay. Do I have a motion to adopt the current year 2015 municipal budget?
Resolution 15-22. Motion for adoption.
Seconded.
Ms. McCarthy, can you poll
Uh,
council?
Mr. Mayor, discussion first.
Yep.
So I just want to review it, and I'm showing mercy to my fellow council members. There will be no PowerPoint. I'm looking at you, Deputy Mayor.
Thank you, Councilman.
Just to review for the public, so we're voting on next year's budget. And I'm going to mention just a few.
This year's.
I mean, this year, that's right. This is the way New Jersey does it, is we're halfway into the year almost, and we're voting on this year's budget. But I'm going to mention just a few numbers. The budget is roughly $57 million. That is flat, except for $125,000 from last year's. That $125,000 is for 2 police officers. We are adding them not because crime is going up, but because we want to try to drive crime down. This budget is 4% lower than the 2009 budget. There's been a 10% increase in the consumer price index since then, but we are 4% lower in actual counting dollars than then. So that's essentially 14% lower. We are increasing taxes by 3%. So that's one of the lowest that's the lowest tax increase we've had in years. If you own a home, which would be the average home of $306,000, that would mean a $32 increase to your municipal portion, to the municipal portion of your property tax. We have worked hard these past several years. When I took office, there was only 2.5 years of money left in the bank account. We were going to be flat broke then. We are now solvent for at least 10 years, assuming we pass this budget using our prediction models. So this council has taken or has made the hard choices and moved us forward. It's unfortunate we have to tax, but that is part of a society. It is unfortunate we have to increase taxes, but that is part of us keeping solvent. We have essentially increased services by increasing road paving and other things while we have cut spending to below 2009 levels. So I, on the Financial Oversight Board, had a lot to do with this budget, and I am proud to put this budget forward. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you. Are there any other comments on this? Questions? Okay, I happen to have a couple. I believe that there is a 2% cap in New Jersey for a reason. 3% is over the 2% cap, so I believe the 2% should be a hard and fast cap, and I do not agree with going over it. There's one other thing in the budget that kind of stuck in my craw, if that's the proper use of it. When I went to an open space meeting, they talked about using open space money to pay for salaries for park maintenance, and I don't agree with that. If there were an actual dollar value associated with the park maintenance as opposed to just salaries, at that point I could agree with it, but as it is now, I do not. So those are my comments. Any others? Okay. Ms. McCarthy, will you poll the council?
Councilman Chase?
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Francois?
Yes.
Mayor Kelly?
No.
Councilman Kramer?
Yes.
Councilman Prasad?
Yes.
Councilwoman Sherman?
Yes.
Councilman Vasanella?
Yes.
Councilman Wright?
Yes.
Is there a motion to open the meeting for public hearing on the CY 2015 municipal budget? Ah, we didn't. Oh, geez.
No.
Okay.
Too late.
Man, sorry about that. Very bad form today. Okay. Ordinance number 4104-15. An ordinance amending the properties contained in the Hamilton Street Business Community Special Improvement District as created by ordinance number 3540 entitled, An Ordinance of the Township of Franklin, County of Somerset, State of New Jersey, creating a special improvement district for the Township of Franklin, Hamilton Street Business Community. Adopted on April 26, 2005, amended by ordinance number 3679, adopted on May 22, 2007, and amended by ordinance number 3925-11, adopted on March 22, 2011. Amended by ordinance number 4036-13 on September 10, 2013. Amended by ordinance number 4053A-14 on February 11, 2014, and amended by ordinance number 4060-14 on May 13, 2014. The Township Attorney has approved the affidavit of publication, and a public hearing is in order. Is there a motion to open the meeting?
Actually, not yet.
No.
This is just defining the area that comprises the special improvement district, and this is the ongoing ordinance amendments to continue to redefine it. The budget's coming a couple more down.
Motion for public hearing.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion is carried. This meeting is open for public discussion on this ordinance. Anyone interested in speaking, please raise your hand, and when recognized, give your name and address. Please, sir.
Hello, good evening, everyone.
Can you state your name and
My
address,
name
please?
is Jagdish Patel. I belong to 921 Hamilton Street, Somerset, New Jersey.
Okay.
I have a lot of questions. I already always was, sorry for my English, but we have problem with up to last year. We had only $79,000 budget, and we hired $41,000 guy. How smart the people are who want to arrange $79,000 or $71,000, and they're paying the guy to manage the money to pay them $41,000.
Mr.
believe
Patel.
this is the next.
Next ordinance. This is just defining all this ordinance does is amends the existing ordinance that defines the area of the improvement district. The budget is further down on the agenda. This is not the budget discussion yet, okay?
Okay. Is there a motion to close the?
So moved.
Seconded.
Ms. McCarthy, will you poll the council?
Councilman Chase?
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Francois?
Yes.
Mayor Kelly?
Yes.
Councilman Kramer? Councilman Prasad?
Yes.
Councilwoman Sherman?
Yes.
Councilman Vasanella?
Yes.
Councilman Wright?
Okay. Ordinance number 4105-15. An ordinance authorizing the Township of Franklin to amend deed of conservation easements it has in real property known as 22 and 24 Roosevelt Avenue, and identified on the township tax maps as Block 88.02, lots 36.10 and 36.11, and authorizing the acceptance of amended deed of conservation easements over the same property. The township attorney has approved the affidavit of publication, and a public hearing is in order.
Motion for public hearing.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion is carried. The meeting is open for public discussion on this ordinance. Anyone interested in speaking, please raise your hand, and when recognized, give your name and address.
See no one come forward, Mayor, I motion to close the public portion of the hearing.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion is carried. Is there a motion?
Yeah, motion for passage of the ordinance.
Is there a second? Okay. Ms. McCarthy, can you poll the council?
Councilman Chase?
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Francois?
Yes.
Mayor Kelly?
Yes.
Councilman Kramer?
Yes.
Councilman Prasad?
Yes.
Councilwoman Sherman?
Yes.
Councilman Vasanella?
Yes.
Councilman Wright?
Okay. Public hearing, current year 2015 Hamilton Street Special Improvement District budget as amended. Is there a motion to open the meeting for public hearing on the current year 2015 Hamilton Street Special Improvement District budget as amended?
So moved.
Seconded.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion is carried. This meeting is open for public hearing on the current year 2015 Hamilton Street Special Improvement District as amended. Anyone interested in speaking, please raise your hand. When recognized, give your name and address.
My God.
How's it going? New to the town, a couple of years, bought a home over there. And I guess the budget doesn't specifically, directly affect me, I don't think, but I just going over real quickly, the social media marketing, that's $12,500, which is about roughly 8% of the budget here. I was wondering if maybe one of you guys could, where's that money going? It seemed, Instagram, Facebook, those are free services, so, and it doesn't take too much. I don't know. I'm just curious.
Mayor, perhaps we have our executive director and our president. I don't want to put them on a spot, but they would be best.
That's why they're here.
Best served to answer that question. Council is involved, but they would be the appropriate.
You need to go to the
You gotta come and speak
You're
at
going to have to
the
go to the
mic.
microphone.
The money's been allocated to hire a consultant to come up with a plan and a marketing strategy for some type of social media. The marketing committee the subcommittee actually met today to go over what they want to do and how they want to go. The money will be used for that consultant to come up with a plan and also to implement that plan. Like I said, they met just today. They'll be meeting again probably another couple weeks and reporting back to the full Hamilton board for that.
You can just.
What? I'm sorry. What was, just your, like, how did you go about picking this company and?
The company has not been picked yet.
So it's just the budget and you're going through right now and finding the contract.
And I'll just add, Mayor, if I could, since I was
Go right ahead.
there when they were discussing this, or at least some of the discussions, it doesn't mean necessarily if this budget does get passed that they would be going out next week or next month. The marketing committee, along with the entire board, will advise council as to the specifics of the plan when they believe somebody should be considered for hire. And we have a process of which we go out and contract, and it's pretty transparent from what I understand. And if anybody from Hamilton, or anybody from the town, basically, or the Hamilton area like yourself that's interested, those meetings are public meetings, and we encourage the board, the council, for residents, stakeholders, anybody to come and be part of those meetings. So it may be spent, but as to when and the details, is that none of that has been decided.
Yeah, no, just the figures seem a little bit high. I mean, I can understand if it's like a website you're running.
It's a marketing plan that is being developed, and the estimate was in that range. And any of those expenditures, because council acts as the district management corporation for the Hamilton Street Special Improvement District, any expenditure would need to be approved by resolution of council in that dollar figure.
It's also important to note that we do have a vacancy on the board for a resident member, so if you're interested.
First Monday of every month, 7 p.m. in this room.
Forgot about that. I was going to say, if you are interested, there is a form you fill out with the clerk's office for becoming a volunteer for a board and commission. So.
I think the May meeting will be in the large conference room because the Environmental Commission is having a invasive species seminar in this room on May 4th.
Good evening, all of you. My name is Raj. I am the owner of 725 Hamilton Street. Just have a question about which you guys answered that first Monday of every month, the Hamilton Board Committee are get together over here, and we can come and question answer it. Okay. So is it appropriate to question them about this budget at that time, or to do it now?
This is
This time. I do not mind about whatever is the money and all other things, but there are so many illegal dumping and trash everywhere, and so many other properties are going on. Since we are paying for police and security cameras, is there any way we can provide the residencies the garbage pickup or something, so at least it will make our town more cleaner? And we already spend a lot of money to keep it property and all of the things. So this is just the suggestion to the board. Thank you for that.
Thank you. Is there anybody else?
Hello. My name is Jagdish Patel. I'm from 921 Hamilton Street, Somerset, New Jersey. We paying since long time when they start. It's around $1,600 to $1,800 every year. Anyone have go and take a look? Is there anything change in my whole Hamilton Street? I pay almost around $20,000. What I see the change? They put one bench, couple of light, no make sense even light. What is the sense for the light even? I request you, Mr. Mayor, you go and check it out. What is the sense of the light? First thing. And that is city light, we don't have to provide the light. And light means what? Behind that pole, you cannot recognize even there is a light. And one bench they gave me out of my $20,000. Second things, that give me any proof. Because you members, everything said, okay, we want to do it, we want to approve, we want to approve. I want from you, I want to claim you guys, that you always approve that Hamilton Street district. We want to make beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. What you make beautiful since long time? Nothing. What is my business improvement? Zero. On the contrary, if I will put that money to my inventory, I will make more money than I am paying. This is all nonsense stuff. You have to stop as soon as possible. What is the sense? Ask anyone who got the benefit with that. No one. Only who the vendor, he got the benefit, he got money. Last time also I discussed about that too. Out of like $100, 70% goes to their pocket and $30 will go to the work. And what kind of work they did from last year to this? Just check it out, because you guys are saying, okay, we want to develop the street, we want to develop that. But you have right to, no, you have your job to check it out. Is there in development or not? Yes, we're ready to give the development. But there is no development. What kind of development are you looking? I don't know. And when it will stop, no one knows even. Even previously I told you before last year, like we have 79,000 budget and we pay 41,000 to manage the $79,000, 41,000 to Mr. Mike or Mark, whatever it is. What kind of? I don't care. He gone, but you agree with them. You believe them. I don't believe them. But I lost my money, you not lost your money. Who lost the money? And you don't have no right to, like I'm telling you, you guys no have right to manage my money. I'm hardly surviving right now. I cannot pay my property tax because of all nonsense stuff I'm paying. Second things, if you're not paying on time that fees, whatever is $1,600, they're going to give you 18% interest. You have to pay 18% interest. What kind of development you doing? I want my benefit. Where is my benefit? I don't get nothing, zero, out of $20,000. Yes, light, no makes sense. Think about that. And that is not from your pocket, it's from our pocket, hard-working people pocket. And you don't have to nothing lose. I have to lose everything. I can put that money to my inventory, I can raise up my business. But you said, okay, everything is okay, okay, okay. You don't have no right. Go and check it out. Yes, I have to say, you go and check whole street. We're dumping a lot of money for no reason, and is there any development you see? There's no development. Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Sorry for my voice.
No, thank you. Thank you for coming out. Sorry you had to get so worked up over that. Please.
Good afternoon, everyone.
Bring it down.
Thank you. Good afternoon. My name is Virginia Beecham, and I live at 91 Berry Street, which is around, I guess, what you're going to do for the improvement. My question is, what kind of improvement is going to be done? Because I spend almost every day picking up garbage and litter, calling the health department, because it's just so much litter on Berry Street, not only on the front street, on the back, on the side. Every day I'm picking up bags and bags of litter. So can you tell me what kind of improvement is going to take place? Because I live right in the area that you're talking about.
All right, look,
There's not going to be any improvement on Berry Street on this because Berry Street is, your property's not within
the improvement district.
Okay,
I-
but what the letter said is, because I live in that area, there's where it affects the improvement. So my question is, what are they planning to put in that vacant lot by the bank? What are they gonna do?
We don't know yet. We're discussing that right now.
Okay, because like I said, every day, I spend days picking up garbage all over the street. And I'm like fed up. You know what I mean? There's all kind of lewdness that goes on in the back of the bank, on the street. So when you have the next meeting, let me know. or, because I try to keep up with it on the paper.
I'll give you
in the
one of my cards
newspaper.
before you leave.
Please,
You-
I'd like to know.
Are you talking about the parcel of land next to the bank? You're talking about that empty lot next to the bank? You're asking what's going to go in there? I'm just trying to clarify something. That's the land you're talking about?
I have been told that the township was thinking about putting park benches and whatever. Well, we have enough litter, and we have a lot of kids from not only New Brunswick, everywhere, from Pine Grove, all over the area. So when they finish whatever they're doing, they just drop the litter. Of course.
Okay. I got a
work with
clearer
the
picture.
township.
Yeah.
Because I clean from the end of Barry from my end up to Hamilton Street. So maybe I should be working for the township. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Are there anybody else? Please, sir.
Good evening. My name is John Baptist. I have a property, 858 Hamilton Street. I've been there almost 40 years. And I want to piggyback on what Jack said. We're worse off now than we were before this program started. For 10 years, I've been contributing money. We're buying again the same things that we bought before. You bought flags. They stayed out there. The wind tore them up. As a veteran, I was ashamed of the flags. After the last hurricane, they flooded. It was shredded for months at a time before they were taken down. I don't think that was right. We're buying garbage can lids for what purpose? We're paying for police protection, $30,000. Don't my taxes pay for the police to cover that street? Our policemen already among the highest paid in the country. The article in the paper said so. I got the Star Ledger. The average salary is over $90,000. Why do I need to pay $30,000 more? I don't understand this program. I don't see any improvement. And what improvement that's being done, people are doing it on their own initiative. Whoever's that opening stores or developing property, you guys have nothing to do with that. I just don't understand why I keep, my taxes are, I'm a senior citizen. I can't stop working to pay my property taxes. You just you're going up 3%. Well, 3% for me is a lot of money. Multiply 3% times 10 years. How much money is that? You add 3% every year for 10 years, that's a 30% increase. 30% of $13,000, which I'm paying now, is almost $4,000. Eventually, I'm going to have to leave. This is not working. I laud the effort, but I don't see any progress. I'm sorry. I just wish that I had a better comment to give you, but that's all I have. Thank you.
Thank you. Please, sir.
My name is Hank Eichert. I own a property at 789 Hamilton Street, and I'm not in with the business organization, just a residential house. I kind of feel really bad for the committee that is working to try and do something here. It's a problem that has been neglected for so many years already, even before you guys were in office. And the negligence has shown. You see the houses, you see the professional buildings, they're all empty. Every time you turn around, there's a vacant house up there. I think maybe, along with what has already been done to beautify Hamilton Street, I think maybe what is called for first, number one on Hip Parade, is going to be a precinct house. I suggested this to the old manager that was here before. I sent him a letter. It could be my property. It's up for sale. Mine's in the middle of it. And it has everything already you need for a precinct house. It would also show a larger police presence in the neighborhood where it's needed. I mean, the place we have up here is great, but down here is where it's needed. The beautification stuff, the litter boxes, if they use it, it's great. The light poles, I would have just as soon do without the light pole in front of my house. It's another telephone pole. I have two of them now. What I would suggest, though, is business people, and I've been in business, so I can speak clearly on that. When you walk into an area thinking about putting something up, the first thing you want to know is that area is safe. You want a good image. Now, I don't want to mention names or properties, but if you go up and down Hamilton Street, there's garages and stuff with wrecks out front, dirty, it's not macadam, not stone, it's just dirt. I noticed one, I don't know who owns it, but I look at Community Firehouse there, and they did a marvelous job on the building. They did a beautiful job all the way around. It looks beautiful. Across the street don't look so beautiful. There's a few of them. There's quite a few. Beautification could be just cleaning. Put a couple, have the owners of the property put up a couple of private fences if you're going to put wrecks out and auto body stuff and things like that. I think that in itself will make a difference when somebody walks in to the area, the Hamilton Business District, and they look around and they don't see trash, they don't see broken down cars, you know, just garbage all over the place. And the one other thing is that once they're in there and we have police protection, we're not going to see the wooden crosses with the flowers on it as much. So we would be doing ourselves a favor, protecting our neighborhood, our people, our kids. And at the same token, the value of the property will step up once people know. That area has a bit of a reputation. I've been there for 70 years. My grandfather's 1928 when he built that house. It had a reputation since 1950. Reputation, how did they make that reputation? I don't know. I'm a young buck then. But I know it has a reputation, and when you talk to people outside of Franklin Township, the first thing they say, oh, Franklin Township. You get that. The reason why is it's too weak on the law enforcement in that area. You have to have a heavy presence in there. You've got to have them cars going through that area, in and out. It's not the people that live in that area. I know the people that live in that area. It's what's coming in to make the drug market there. Excuse me, I've got a really bad sore throat. People coming in from the city, the Oranges, the Newarks, all of that. They're coming in there looking to get a market going. Unless we get that presence built up, you're going to have much more problems there than what you got now. And that's because they will establish those markets, and then you're going to see your kids getting killed. Thank you so much.
Good evening, Council. Murphy Anderson, 794 Hamilton Street. To follow along what Hank was saying, you need to inspire the people, the owners of the properties, to do better, to change Hamilton Street. You're not going to do it by taxing them. You're not going to do this by taxing the business owners. You want to inspire them, make it safer. I've been mugged 3 times in front of our property on Hamilton Street. Okay, the neighborhood has gotten worse, it's gotten better, it's been through a lot of changes. The reality of it is if you don't drive the people and reward the businesses with the traffic, you're just hurting these people. You're putting them in a position where they're going to give you an attitude if they don't care. And it's a genuinely good idea. It's a great concept. But the reality of it is, give some results. Take part of your budget and show what you have done with last year's money. Give a study. Spend $3,500 to prove that you've made an improvement. Because all of us standing there looking at lights that no one sees, garbage that's still everywhere, sidewalks in front of our place are a hazard. The town planted the trees, we paid the town for the sidewalks, and they're a hazard. No one ever approaches me about these things. Had a telephone pole fall across the sidewalk there, it took me a week and a half to get the phone removed, the pole removed. Calling the town, calling Verizon, calling PSE&G till I could find an owner of this poll that I have been looking at all of my life. It's the little stuff. It's really knowing the people, not just looking at these businesses saying, we're going to do something by taxing, putting up signs, and spending some money. I hope that you guys are investigating tax relief. Maybe we can get a reduced tax district for retail on Hamilton Street, like there is in so many other areas. You're competing with New Brunswick across the way. Why don't you bring some of that here? Why don't we spend some of this money on researching that? And also, I hope there is truly transparency with all the bidding. I hope there's no money being awarded here that goes out under whatever Franklin's ceiling is. Is it, you guys have a minimum ceiling for bidding public contracts? Minimum ceiling for bidding public contracts?
I'm talking,
Dollar amount for bidding public contracts?
$36,000.
So all of this stuff that will be done without public bid for Hamilton Street then?
Generally speaking, the issue is not public bid. There's different levels. It's not just public bid. There's quotes, there's council authorization through resolution, and all have different numbers.
Put out RFPs and then.
Depends on what it is. It depends on what the service is.
I just think that it's when you're going outside of the box to tax a select group of people, to do a select thing, you need more accountability.
I just want to touch on, there is a Hamilton Street Advisory Board. All right? And it is comprised of a cross-section of business owners and property owners and residential property owners on Hamilton Street. We've spoken several times already tonight about the need for involvement from all of the people. You know, I heard it mentioned, and it's absolutely true. There's a vacancy on the Hamilton Street Advisory Board for a residential member. I've now heard 2 residential members of Hamilton Street speak about very eloquently what's necessary to be done on Hamilton Street. I would encourage both of you to pursue that position on the board. And likewise, I've heard a number of business owners speak tonight. I regularly attend those advisory board meetings. I've not seen any members that have spoken here tonight at those advisory board members. You need to be there. That you are the voice. You are the members of that improvement district. You need to go and speak. This budget was prepared based on input from people who own businesses and own properties on Hamilton Street. If there's no other input other than the ones who attend those meetings, this is the budget that gets produced. That's what this is. You're absolutely right. Everyone needs to be a participant in this. I couldn't say it any better than you did.
I think there is some burden on the township though to notify people. I've never ever. I heard of the Business Street Improvement District tongue in cheek over the years.
And what I'll say is that this particular advisory board was created after a number of public hearings that were advertised as part of council meetings, and these meetings, there was that man right there in the tan suit and yellow shirt there, visited every single property on Hamilton Street to advise every property owner and business owner on that street when those special hearings were held here, when the decision was made by this council as to whether or not to abandon the district management corporation that had been in place and take over that responsibility, which they did. Every single property was visited by him. So all I'm telling you is every single property was visited. So what I'm telling you is if you are the owner, landlord, I don't know whether you live there, you own a business there, whatever it was, every single property was visited, as well as a mailing that went out to every single property in the improvement district about those hearings. And now these meetings are held, like I said, first Monday of every month at 7 o'clock here, and we want everyone, you're all stakeholders, fill this room,
That's great.
okay? I'm encouraging everyone to come.
I think you get our attention with budgets.
Well,
You get our attention with things like that.
And just as a quick reflection on that, the 6 month to move from a fiscal year to a calendar year on budget resulted in no assessment. All right, and the prior year assessment, the overwhelming majority, short of about, what, $4,000, I believe, of that prior year's budget, so it would have been the 2014 fiscal year budget, I believe, all of that budget was rolled over and is in what we would call a fund balance, and so the answer is that There have not been any physical improvements done in the last year and a half, and the reason why there have been no physical improvements, there's also been no money spent. All right, because the plan is being revised, and that's why you need to come to these meetings.
Good to know. Thank you, council.
You only get to speak once on a topic. I'm sorry about that. I have to stick with the protocol. I apologize. Are anybody else from the? Okay.
Pat Gianotto, 602 Hamilton Street. It's hard to be me. You get picked on a lot, but basically what we're trying to do is keep improving the area. And if we don't do something and don't keep moving forward, it's only going to go downhill. And we believe the people that I have on our board at this point in time all have the same philosophy. We're looking to make the area better because we know it can be better, okay? There's a lot of work that needs to be done, and we can't do everything with our budgets that they're small budgets, but we're there and we're pushing, and part of the pushing that we've done have gotten 2 more police for us in that area. You're right, there's garbage. We pick up garbage every day in front of our place. It's there. It happens. I wish people would learn how to use the garbage cans. Maybe we have to have instructions or something for them. But it just, what's that? Oh, and then also residents are throwing the garbage, which they should be paying for their own garbage, like I do. And if any resident wants to throw garbage down, come to my place, put it in my dumpster. I don't have a problem with that. Put it in my, I'd rather you do that than throw it on the ground. But this is here, we're trying to go forward with it. And I'm very passionate about this because I've lived there all my life, as long as you, and it's there. I'm not going anywhere. And I want to make it a nice place, better than it is, and there's always room for improvement. You're right, there's a lot of bad things that need to be cleaned up down there. That's what we're working on, and that's the goal, get it clean. Get it clean. Then you're also got a lot of projects coming in. People know we're trying and we're pushing. There's developments that are going to be done that are in the planning, not planning stage, even further than planning stages, that are going to be happening. They wouldn't be coming in if nobody was there pushing to try to get this area straightened out. And again, I would really love to have another resident get onto the board. We need that. And you probably can't talk again, but you could talk to me anytime. I'm available. Okay? Thank you very much. Any questions for me? We'll have to talk that after, because we can't. I have to direct myself.
I think there's been one point that hasn't been addressed, which is, for some time, the management and execution of that Hamilton Street Board was done differently. In the last year, it's been taken over in a different direction, and nobody's addressed that.
I'm sorry, you're absolutely correct. The council took over the management of Hamilton Street at this point in time with an advisory board, and this is the first time, I've been working with this for a long time, 14 years. This is the first time I feel that it's moving in the right direction because the council is behind us and helping us. And this is, I feel it's going to work and get further than it's ever been before. So, thank the council for helping us out, but you got a long way to go.
Right.
A long way to go, all right? Any other questions from the council?
So I think the point, too, is also because we have taken it over, we have more control over the spendings of the monies, which was not in the past. When you talked about one executive director making $40,000, that's not happening now. It's not going to happen. As far as point of order, please. As far as garbage pickup and things like that, the township is responsible for that. We also recognize there is crime in that area, and we are implementing a community policing program. I think the manager was going to speak to that. So we do recognize that there has been a point of failure there, and that we can't keep doing the same thing the way we've been doing it for so long, and we have taken a different direction. And we do appreciate all of your comments because they're very valid.
Sir,
So
sir, and I understand, you had your opportunity to speak, and it's out of order to continue to speak from the audience.
So
Thank you.
we're still in the public session.
Okay, thank you very much.
Pat.
Thank you. Are there any other members of the public that would like to speak?
Good evening. Timothy Kelly. Yeah, okay, thanks. I'm on the Hamilton Advisory Board, too. I'm also a property owner and business owner on Hamilton Street. Basically, everybody's complaint is true that they said, and I was here 2 years ago to complain about the SID tax, just like everybody else was. And Councilman Wright told me, he goes, "Did you ever go to a meeting?" I said, "Nope, I never went to a meeting." Well, I joined, so I don't know where Carl is, but thank you, Carl. I'm on it. I would just like everybody to know that we are working hard. We have a good crew. We meet all the time. We talk on the phone. The staff is perfect. I mean, to have Vince Dominic as the executive director, I believe he gets paid $10,000. He's worth way more than that. So, we are going in the right direction. We have a police officer, Detective Ken Daly, that works with us. I speak to him on a weekly basis. I wish everybody would come to the meetings, because I got to be honest, like sometimes we have a meeting and it goes so quickly, and I'm like, I got a babysitter for my son. I got to come here. I want to get something done, So I wish everybody that talked would come to the meetings and we can really get something done. So thank you.
Thank you very much. Is there anybody else? Okay. Is there a motion to close the public session?
So moved.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Mr.
Motion
Mayor.
is- Councilman Kramer?
Thank you. I'm now going to comment.
I was going to get to that right after we did the motion. I was going to open this up for council comments and discussion. If there are any council comments or discussion, Councilman Kramer?
Thank you. So I just want to address one part of it, and that's the crime issue that a number of people brought up. I'm going to segue to a different budget, not this budget, the other budget, the big budget, the council budget. As I said, it went up by $125,000. There was one increase in that budget, and that was for 2 police officers specifically for the Hamilton Street area. So this is something that is recognized. That's a beginning. There probably needs to be more of that, but they will be on patrol, not in a car. They'll be doing community policing there. So this is something that we are addressing, and that is not part of the SID tax. That's all of the towns paying for that. And most of the council members up here voted for that. So most of us recognize the importance of it. I'll let others more involved with Hamilton Street make comments on other things.
I'll just make a quick
Councilman
comment, Mayor. So- Yes, I think it is important. Thank you, Councilwoman Francois, for pointing out. We had varied results, and we had a lot of little results, and not many big, new, good things happening. A couple years ago, as it was mentioned, we thought about closing it down, so to speak, as far as the SID. And that would have done away with the budget, but it also would have done away with piggybacking on the progress and the knowledge that we had from the years that the board was in place. So we changed the model, went to where the township's involved. I think that should have happened years earlier. Maybe, there's different structures that could have been put in place, but my point is the town simply was not involved enough. Some of us were here, some of us weren't, some of us were pushing for things. Now it's a little different. You have a full-time staff member, as mentioned, Vince Dominic is the executive director. His background's in zoning and many other elements of how to get this thing fixed. Pat was a board member, president back years ago. My point simply is, if we can't show now, I think we already have, but they're not the type of improvements that would be real obvious, and some of them are in the pipeline now. But if we can't, we set a sunset date on, I believe, in the ordinance to where by the end of this year, if we can't show significant improvements, or at least that we're on the path to accomplishing them, we will have to make the decision of whether or not to keep it going and what format to keep it going, or to close it down. So it is a different ballgame now, so to speak. Does that mean it's easy or things are going to happen overnight? No. But the things you're hearing about tonight, and I won't get into the detail now, that's what the meetings are for. But as far as keeping the place clean, that is a big concern. The beautification, big concern. Safety, these are all the things that always have been said were the biggest issues. So really, come to these meetings. They're every Monday, and you don't have to be on the board to come to the meeting. You don't have to be on the board to be part of the marketing committee or the safety committee. So that's what's going to keep this thing going. I mean, that's kind of what's going on. There's a groundswell within the council and the staff and the town itself to respond to the concerns that were expressed here tonight. So we're kind of just out of the gate in this new approach, but we are making headway. Come to the meetings, send us emails if you can't come to the meetings, and help push it along. Thank you.
I just want to, Councilman Vasanella is extremely enthusiastic about this. Councilman, we are not going to meet every Monday. We will meet every first Monday. That's okay.
Thank you for clarifying it. My mic is gone.
We're losing them all.
The first Monday of the,
Lost them all.
Okay, Mr. Mayor, I don't know. We lost them all.
Councilman Prasad?
Oh, we lost them all.
Lost the sound system completely.
Well, we got to keep going with the meeting.
Just speak loud.
Everyone just needs to talk very loudly.
You can do that easily.
All right. Mr. Mayor, okay.
Go right ahead.
They're all dead. All dead, the whole system, okay.
Interesting.
I've been around since 1977. I came to work for Johnson & Johnson in New Brunswick, and New Brunswick was where Hamilton Street is today, or needs the same kind of rebuilding that New Brunswick got. And that is a model that we need to use and emulate. And there is,
Deal with it.
unless we add cleanliness and safety, those are the starting points. But beyond, we have to rezone the area, allow for the kind of growth we want. Unless we put the people there, not going to help you. Any amount
Nope,
of
still dead.
cosmetic changes is still not going to help you. So the best thing that we can do is what New Brunswick Development Corporation did, where Johnson & Johnson actually spent a lot of money. And in addition to that, they took Middlesex County Hospital and renamed the Robert Wood Johnson Medical Center, put in a medical school, and today it's taking over most of New Brunswick. But that kind of commitment, and they also need to expand into Franklin. And we're not benefiting from any of that. Where all the healthcare workers and this is a healthcare city, New Brunswick, needs housing. They need clinics, all kinds of things that can come to Franklin, but it's got to be safe and clean before we can attract it. Secondly, rezoning it, and that's what we're doing, is rezoning it to attract that kind of development into Franklin. And that development is what is going to bring you the people with multi-use buildings, retail, offices, and residential that will allow you to get that. Unless the demand comes in, you're not going to get it. So we're trying to bring the demand to you.
Please, sir, please, please.
Okay. All right. Just, we recognize that it wasn't working the way it was, and that is why the major change was done last year, and your money from last year has not been spent. It is still sitting in the bank, so if you want to see your money, we'll take you to the bank and show it to you. All right? But beyond that,
Give me your time.
okay?
I've come to see you.
All right. But the point is, here has heard you. We have changed the whole board and the way it operates. They're responsible to us, and we're asking them questions, and the money is being watched very closely. So, beyond that, unless you have demand, you will not be happy, and you will not have the kind of money that you're looking for from your investment in Hamilton Street. You can spend as much money as you want on your inventory. It's not going to move unless I have people that I can send to your store that'll demand and buy your products. So we have an obligation to you to be able to build that demand for you. But that is going, this is a problem the gentleman pointed out, Hank, that it's been around since the 1950s. So now you're talking about something that's been there for 65 years, and you want an overnight fix. It's not going to happen. But we're moving in the right direction.
Wrong direction.
Let's have a dialogue on it. Okay?
Let's just,
But the point
please.
is, okay. Let me say now what you had your say. Now let me say what I have to say.
Justin's coming.
All right? And what I'm saying is, we are moving forward, and that is all that we're trying to do. If you have problems, come see me one-on-one, come see the Hamilton Street Advisory Board, but for God's sakes, get involved. Don't just show up here at a budget hearing and complain. We want you to be involved, and this is your town, this is your street, we're there to help you, but you've got to get involved and not just complain. You lose your right to complain if you are going to, just come to the budget hearings and complain. It's not going to work.
Man is saying right
Okay,
now.
we
So
need you
proud of
involved.
him.
If you
This
want
needed
results,
to be
please get
said.
involved. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
He's absolutely right.
Thank you. Are there any other comments?
I have nothing.
I just have one real quick thing that I have a kind of a fundamental problem with the tax down there. I don't think, and I've heard from you and I've heard from there, I haven't seen any. The microphones don't work, so I will try and speak louder, but I don't speak loudly very well. I have a fundamental problem with a special tax for one part of town, where other parts of town do not have that. Just because I don't live in Hamilton Street, I don't pay that special improvement district tax, but I pay taxes for the police, I pay taxes for everything else, same thing. So I don't see any benefit for this whole organization being there or the tax to be there, to be honest with you. So that is where I speak my piece. Please, sir, we're done. We're about to vote on this. So if there are no other comments, can we, is there a motion to adopt CY 2015 Hamilton Street Special Improvement District Budget as amended is presented to the Township Council for adoption? Is there a second?
Seconded.
Ms. McCarthy, can you poll the council?
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Francois? Mayor Kelly?
No.
Councilman Kramer? Yes. Councilman Prasad?
Yes.
Councilwoman Sherman?
Yes.
Councilman Vasanella?
Yes.
It's all our force of habit to lean
Yeah,
into that
yeah,
microphone.
yeah,
That
yeah.
doesn't
Just
work.
realized that
Mike, I'm going like
Is
this.
there a motion to open the meeting for public hearing on the 2015 Hamilton Street Special Improvement District Assessment Roll?
So moved.
Seconded.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion is carried. The meeting is open for the public hearing on the current year 2015 Hamilton Street Special Improvement District Budget Assessment Roll. Anyone interested in speaking, please raise your hand and when recognized, give your name and address.
Seeing no one come forward, Mayor, I motion to close the public portion of the hearing.
Seconded.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion is carried. Resolution 15-124, approval of current year 2015 Hamilton Street Special Improvement District Assessment Roll is presented to the Township Council for adoption.
Motion for passage.
Is there a second? Second. Ms. McCarthy, can you poll the council?
Councilman Chase?
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Francois? Yes. Mayor Kelly?
No.
Councilman Kramer?
Yes.
Councilman Prasad?
Yes.
Councilwoman Sherman?
Yes.
Councilman Vasanella?
Yes.
Okay. The items A through V, as listed on the consent agenda portion of this meeting, are presented to the Township Council for adoption. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Seconded.
Okay. Ms. McCarthy, can you poll the council?
Councilman Chase?
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Francois?
Yes.
Mayor Kelly?
Yes.
Councilman Kramer?
Yes.
Councilman Prasad?
Yes.
Councilwoman Sherman? Yes. Councilman Vasanella?
Okay. Resolution 15 dash, whoa, we're back on. Resolution 15-147, authorize person-to-person and place-to-place transfer of plenary retail consumption license number 108-33-007-010 from Avenue, oh, there we go again. From Avenue Pub LLC in action to Dayal Enterprises LLC, 315 Churchill Avenue, add-on.
So moved.
Seconded.
Ms. McCarthy, will you poll the council?
Councilman Chase?
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Francois?
Yes.
Mayor Kelly?
Yes.
Councilman Kramer? Councilman Prasad?
Yes.
Councilwoman Sherman? Councilman Vasanella?
Yes.
Are there any nominations for the boards, committees, commissions?
We have one for Constant Pizarro for non-senior member of the Senior Advisory Board.
We don't need a second.
Okay.
Any other nominations?
I'm sorry,
I have a question.
Please.
They haven't met for quite a while. Is there,
No, they regularly meet. They just,
Maybe
no,
we
this-
should,
That's a separate person. This is
So,
Constant Pizarro. Non-senior member specific. Because
where did you get that from? Did she ask for non-senior?
She asked, yeah, she asked the advisory.
Right.
As a non-senior
As a
member?
non-senior member.
She didn't check.
Excuse me? Well, no, this is the non-senior member.
Non-senior member.
This is a person that's not a senior
we used to
citizen
have
yet.
that position.
Right, the non-senior.
But
That's why I know it. No, non-senior.
Non-senior.
so if she asks for it, maybe you want to reach out for her and ask her if she wants to do some other stuff too. Maybe you might want to reach out if you think that there's no real role for her.
Yeah, so Anne Marie clarified it. She wanted to be on,
Correct.
Be the
Yeah, I spoke
non-senior
with her several times, yeah.
member, right.
Well, let's give her what she wants.
All in
Can you
favor?
poll the?
It's been,
Okay.
right,
Yeah.
Motion
it's
carries.
been open for years.
Motion carries. Are there any other nominations for boards, committees, commissions?
Any other nominations down there?
Any nominations? Okay. Is there a motion to adjourn the meeting?
So moved.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? The motion is carried. This meeting is adjourned.